Hi everyone! We will talk about virus that cause disease. So, for the introduction, what is the virus? Does virus harm people? What are the characteristics of virus? And diseases from virus. What is the virus? Virus is a non-living microorganism that can survive without anything. Viruses are smaller than bacteria. Their size is about 20 until 300 nanometers. It needs host cells to reproduce. What is the component of virus? It is a cellular because it does not have a cellular structure, but it consists of DNA or RNA form that is surrounded by a protein coat or capsid that functions to protect the genetic material during the viral infection process. How it infects the host cell. When the virus comes from the environment and attaches with a host cell, virus can infect its genetic material into its host. So, of course, it will take over the host function. Then, causes the infected cell produce more genetic material than usual.
There are 5 mechanism stages of infection. The first mechanism is attachment. It happens when the phages attaches to the surface of host. It happens when people start sneezing and coughing, releasing the virus to the atmosphere and the people near them. The virus attaches to specific receptor site on the host membrane through attachment protein in the capsid. The nucleic acid of bacteriophages enters the host cell, leaving the capsid outside the cell, but there are also some viruses enter the cell entirely. Once the virus enters the cell, the nucleic acid is released and the virus then hijacks the cell's protein manufacturing system and DNA replication manufacture to integrate itself into the cell so it can replicate its own DNA to use it to manufacture protein and unconsciously produce viral protein shell and fill it with virus DNA, then making copies. The 4 stages, the new phages particles are assembled. When the new virus were produced, all the virus DNA will assemble, waiting to be released. The last stages of viral replication is the release of new virions produced in the host cell. It happens when the tension begins to develop in the cell, then the cell bursts and affected new host cell.
Next is the effects of the viruses. First is effects to human. There are meningitis, common cold, pharyngitis, gingival stomatitis, cardiovascular, hepatitis, skin infections, eye infections, parotitis, pneumonia, myelitis, gastroenteritis, pancreatitis, and sexually transmitted diseases. Second is effects to animals. It is called as viral zoonoses or zoonotic infections. There are rabies, yellow fever, and hepatitis C fever. Lastly is effects to nature and economy. Crops that get infected will resulting biological and economic losses. And our economy will having issues because GDP loses importance. Usual policies like tax cuts ineffective. Government debt rules irrelevant. Printing money without inflation and re-evaluation of what has economic value.
In recent decades, several viruses have jumped from animals to humans and triggered sizable outbreaks, claiming thousands of lives. Some viruses, including the novel coronavirus currently driving outbreaks around the globe, have lower fatality rates, but still pose a serious threat to public health as we don't yet have the means to combat them. Here are some of the worst outbreaks that has happened throughout history. First on this list is the 1968 flu pandemic, also known as the Hong Kong flu. It was caused by H3N2 strain of influenza virus that originated in Hong Kong in July of that year. However, even though over 1 million people worldwide died, the case-to-fatality ratio was only 0.5%. Part of the reason why the death toll wasn't higher was many had retained immunity after the same strain was spread throughout the world a decade earlier. That outbreak, called the Asian flu, has killed more than 2 million people worldwide. It originated in China from mutation in wild ducks, combining with a pre-existing human strain. A vaccine for H2N2 was introduced in 1957, and the pandemic slowed down. Lastly, the Spanish flu, also known as the 1918 flu pandemic, was an unusually deadly influenza pandemic caused by the H1N1 influenza A virus. Lasting about 15 months from spring 1918 to early summer 1919, it infected 500 million people, about a third of the world's population at the time. It predominantly killed healthy young adults by causing an overreaction of the body's immune system.